Networking and Marketing Made Simple is for you, the business owner who has a product, a service, or a message that you believe in. My name is Scott Aaron, and each week we'll take a behind-the-scenes look into the real-world marketing and networking tactics and strategies for getting what you have in front of you to a lot more people. Thanks for spending time with me, and now let's get started. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to a dual episode of Networking and Marketing Made Simple and the Entrepreneur Rescue Mission. I am here with my beautiful co-host, wife, business partner, friend, compadre, amigo, Nancy.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, anyway, so we got a juicy episode for you guys today. And crazy enough, we are winding down 2023 and winding up into 2024. So what we wanted to do in today's episode is give you some important social media updates that you need to know about right now that can potentially affect you in either a negative or positive way, whether you take these tips and do something with them or not, moving into 2024 with whatever goal planning you have. Now, we're just going to go over some of, we called them the big three: Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. We may add some sprinklings and some other things that we have found out, but we are going to share some much needed updates and things that you can do to better leverage social media with whatever platform you are choosing to use to do so. So, Nance, why don't you kick us off with some updates to social media?
Yes. So I have a few of these noted down. And of course, we're not going to go over like a million bajillion different updates because we've always got new and different things happening. But we wanted to take you through a few different ones with each of the, top platforms. So we're really going to focus on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, of course. Okay. So the first update that I have here, so obviously Facebook, also known as Meta, is allowing users to actually create multiple personal profiles. And so I think in the past, people were a little afraid of that. And they were like, oh, can I create an extra profile for this if I want to use it for personal and if I want to use it for business? Well, Facebook actually allows you to do it and is actually promoting it now. And one of the perks to that, right? Because you might be wondering, well, why in the world would I would I want to do that? But doing that, you can separate your personal and your professional, right? So if you really want to use it more as a networking tool for your business and, create more business-like connections, you can kind of set up a profile with that intention and with that, goal in mind. And then you can create one for completely separate, right, for your personal. And then obviously keep it private, only add people that you want to, connect with, so on and so forth, right? So I think that that's actually pretty cool, right? It's cool that we have the option to do that now. It's also for privacy and safety. Even we, right? We know a close friend who recently had her profile hacked. We know another person who had their profile duplicated. So, they are adding additional things to make it so, obviously there's some more safety and privacy settings there. The other thing too is Meta, and I'm sure some of you have already seen this. I've seen it. I don't know if you've seen it, Scott, but Meta is allowing businesses to purchase verified badges for their Facebook and Instagram accounts. So they're pretty much rolling this out to many more people. It was
you recently did that, Nancy, didn't you?
I did. And you know what? The reason why I did it. Okay. So the monthly subscription service, cost is about $22, I think, for one, $35 for both. And the perks to this is you get additional account security, right? So you actually have to go through an additional verification step.
That, I would say, is worth its weight in gold. Just two things really quickly. Number one, so a friend of ours, we were on social media in the morning, and I showed Nancy this post. I'm like, did so-and-so get certified to be a cryptocurrency coach? Like, it has her name on this certificate and everything. So I reached out to my sister because they're a mutual friend, and she goes, yeah, I know, they're working on it. And it turns out that this person's account got hacked on Facebook and they couldn't retrieve it, but they did get it back. So the number one thing that I will say is that I know people are like, oh, why would you pay $35 a month to get the verification badge? It's not about the blue check mark. It's about if you're using social media to build your business and you can add an extra layer of security to make sure that something like that doesn't happen, do it. The second thing, it's a business write-off. So if you're using that verification badge for business purposes, which if you're doing that, you probably are, that $35 monthly fee or that $400 yearly investment is 100% business write-offable. So is write-offable a word, or did I just make that up?
You might have made that up.
Okay. Either way, people know what I'm saying. So just wanted to chime in with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the other updates, and this was a little more, like recent, well, actually not recent, but it was a little, earlier done. I think it was around October time this really launched, but broadcast channels are now available on Facebook. So that's on your Facebook and your Messenger. So people who manage Facebook pages, for example, can start to broadcast like channels as a way to connect with followers. So for example, you can say, hey, do you want to join my broadcast? And if everyone joins, I mean, I've seen a bunch of those lately, but if anyone joins, basically, if you have any updates or messages or, things that you want to make sure people see, let's say you have a workshop going on and you want to make sure everyone sees it. Anyone who's in that broadcast message can stay up to date from all their favorite pages. They can dive deeper into certain
We're both
topics.
making up words today.
I know, right? It's that time of the day. So anyway, I think that's really cool though, because think about in the past, you get penalized and you can actually get blocked and dinged by Facebook when you message too many people. Okay. So now they're giving you the option to create your own broadcast channel, and people who want to be invited to that channel will say, yes, I want to receive those messages. So again, that is helpful. So I find that is helpful. So anyway, so enough with Facebook and Meta, moving on to Instagram and some really cool updates. I absolutely love, so just to kind of give a little shout out to Brock and Shailene Johnson. They are both, in obviously the social media game, but they really, really focus on Instagram. And they have something called the Instagram Club Hub, where they keep up to date. And they are even on, I think they meet with Instagram, and Meta to actually go over, the new algorithm changes and updates and things like that. And so a few of the biggest updates are that things are changing when it comes to Reels, right? Reels may not be getting as much engagement in 2024 as they had in 2023. And this is a big deal because Reels, as of last year and the year prior, right, they were still so new, and they were Instagram was really competing, right, with TikTok, and so they were really pushing it out there. And so that was the way that you were going to get the most increased engagement. You were going to get more followers. You were going to get all kinds of wonderful things. Now, it's not to say that it's going to be null and void. It's just not going to get as much, and you're not going to see as much fanfare and likes and loves and shares and engagement on your posts whenever you do Reels. Now, you should still be posting them, but the big focus for the upcoming year, and what I really want you guys to kind of put into your strategy, is going to be around carousel posts. So those are the posts, right? You get to post multiple pictures that people, press the over button and they can scroll through it. And then also on regular old static posts, right? Those are the, images, could be a picture of you, could be, again, Instagram's going back to basics, right? It's going back to what they are known for, right? Which is a picture, like it's a picture posting app. So again, Reels aren't going to be as popular. The big goal, right, with those carousels and the static posts, the big metric that is really going to be tracked by the algorithm is shares, right? So the number one goal we want to get people to do is not just to like it, is not just to comment on it, it's to actually share the content. So how can we create shareable content? Well, to do this, right, we want to create share-worthy content. We want to create things that are thought-provoking, emotion-evoking, right? They make people feel something like, oh, this is so true. I got to share this with, Debbie, or I got to share this with Scott. Controversial content like, oh, oh my gosh, I totally, there's all the time, right? Scott and I think when we're in the kitchen chatting and talking, we'll say, what's your take on this? And we'll have kind of a back and forth. And it's like, of course, being in the business that we are in and being in it as long as we have opinions, on certain things. And sometimes it's not the popular opinion. So if you guys have that, and I always say, make sure you process it through the filter. Is it truthful? Is it necessary? And is it kind? Share it, right? It could be a cool thing like, ooh, taboo topic I'm talking about here. Well, here's my thought. What do you think? Also, so in addition to controversial content, could be breaking news, right? Super big updates, that people need to know or would be good for them to know, like in their industry, for example. Could be, oh my gosh, this big change, just happened with this social media platform. Cool, go ahead. That's the kind of stuff that, again, will get shared. And as soon as Instagram sees, ooh, okay, this person's sharing it, it must be good content. Let's get it out there a little bit more and let's keep it going. The other thing too is, of course, pop culture, right? So pop culture, entertainment, that kind of thing. So if you guys have like a lifestyle brand, or if you have something, even, entertainment, some people are using pop culture to kind of tie into their content. I know Scott and I did a podcast episode about reputation, and we talked about the Lizzo, situation that happened. For those of you who aren't aware, Lizzo had a little, thing that she was going through. She's a music singer. She's a singer. And she had some issues with her team. And, there were all these like legal allegations and things like that. And so that was a big thing in the news. So we actually kind of talked about that in our content. So again, anything that is shareable. So carousels and images are going to be the main drivers of your content this year versus reels. And that actually might give you a sigh of relief, right? If you do not feel like, doing all the different reels and creating those. Now, if you are still doing reels and that's a healthy part of your routine, which is completely fine as well, the goal there is watch rate. Okay, so we want to focus on how long people are watching. Are they clicking on it? Are they watching it? That's going to be the big goal there. Trending audios aren't as big. Okay. So I know that was like the huge thing, last year is, oh my gosh, we got to get on the latest, trending audio and so on and so forth. Not as big of a deal anymore. Okay. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is LinkedIn. And this is a really
I know something about that.
Yeah. This one is really big, right? Because this is huge in my opinion. And in fact, whenever I was going through the updates, which our source here is Social Media Examiner, when I was going through the updates for LinkedIn, and as I was chatting with Scott, of course, he is like always up on the forefront of it anyway. So he's like, yeah, tell me something I don't know. But as I was going through some of the different ones, I was just like blown away. And I really felt validated, to be honest with you. And that is what you should be focusing on with LinkedIn. And whenever I say that, in fact, I'm going to just share the breakdown, and I actually want to have Scott chime in and share his thoughts. Okay. And that is that we should stop thinking about and being so caught up, right, with the shares, the reactions, the clicks, what we call like the vanity metrics, the likes and loves and all that. And we need to start thinking about something else instead. And so I'll let Scott really dive into this one.
So what you have to start thinking about are comments and messages. So what that means is this is creating content that is moving away from the vanity sides of things, meaning you see people do clickbait posts all the time where they just want to get people just to hit that like, that love, that support, but that's where it stops. And LinkedIn is best leveraged when something that you post is a conversation starter. That is the big thing. If your content isn't drumming up conversation, meaning it's not getting things from online to offline, and it's not creating any thought-provoking commentary by not just you, but other people. And I'll give you a very simple example. So an interesting statistic that a lot of people may not know is that 45% of people on LinkedIn have never posted. 45% of people on LinkedIn have never, ever posted. So that's close to 425 million people on LinkedIn that have never hit the post button. So what I did was I wanted to create some conversation. I wanted to create some commentary. So I created a poll on LinkedIn. And basically, I asked my audience, did you know that 45% of people on LinkedIn have never posted? And it got 100 votes, but it wasn't so much the votes. There were 38 comments. And I mean, people were sharing some insights and their own facts. And it's still getting engagement today. And I posted that last Saturday. And we're recording this on a Tuesday. So 4 days later, it's still getting engagement. But what it did was it actually sparks offline conversation, meaning not only am I able to chime back into the comment section, I can then go a step further and message people offline, send them a private message saying, hey, Nancy, thanks so much for contributing to the commentary on my poll. If I could be of any service or assistance, or if you would like to connect, let me know. And would love to hear more about what you're doing. People aren't spending enough time networking on LinkedIn. And, I've done podcast episodes, I don't even know how many at this point, about engagement pods. I know it sounds tempting that you can pay $100 to $300 a month to guarantee that you're going to get 50 likes and 50 comments, but it's all fake. And it doesn't matter. It's not getting you anywhere. You want people to organically engage with you. That's the cool thing. I had people commenting on that post that had never commented before. But it also tells me, I just hit a trigger right here. And it's around creating content. So I can use that data for further information. So really just get away from the vanity side of things. It's something that just, it's not that I'm sick and tired of talking about it, but it does nothing for your business. Like the fact that, okay, so you got a couple thousand views. Awesome. So you got a couple hundred likes. Awesome. What is happening from that post? Is anything translating into business collaboration or client acquisition? And if it's not, then you're going about using LinkedIn the absolute wrong way. And I can't tell you how many times Nancy and I have people within our circle, whether they're clients or friends, reach out to us about this. Like, oh, I need to get better engagement. I need to get more engagement. Why am I not getting engagement? Well, take a look at what you're posting. And it's not about the likes and it's not about the views. Is what you're posting thought-provoking? Is it sparking conversation? Now, I'll finish with this. Do not, and I repeat, do not post things that are controversial that will cause commentary. Never, and again, this is not about censorship, but if you read any article that LinkedIn has written, they monitor what goes on. They don't want a lot of negative political stuff. They don't want negativity around the platform. They want to keep it forward-focused, business advice, collaboration, all those things that enable us to drive our businesses forward.
And that was it. That's it. And I'm done. Okay.
Do you want me to keep going?
No. I mean, the one thing that I did want to touch on though, because again, this is one of the things that I found so fascinating, and Scott touched on it as well, is the majority of people, right? As Scott said, don't even post. But there's an entire, and this is the reason why the LinkedIn algorithm works so differently than any other social media algorithm, is because the majority of the users on LinkedIn are what we call the silent community. And what I mean by that is this is, the whole community of people, and it's the vast majority, right, on LinkedIn, that just scroll through their feed. They look at your content, they check it out, but they don't interact with it. Meaning they're not hitting like, they're not hitting love, they're not sharing it. Okay. And the thing is how can you measure that? Right. So like LinkedIn does not care about the likes, the loves, whatever. That's irrelevant to them. Okay. There's other metrics that it focuses on. So, knowing that and knowing that the silent community, which is a huge, unique feature, right, of the LinkedIn platform, well, what is it that they are focusing on? So the LinkedIn algorithm actually focuses on, and this is obviously for the upcoming year as well, is what we call dwell time. Right? That's one. And I'm going to kind of break these down a little bit deeper, but one is dwell time. One is early post performance. one is negative engagement signals, one is internal and external links, and then the last is called action. So just to elaborate on that a little bit more, so dwell time, you can boost that on LinkedIn, right? If you're really tracking that and helping to support that, you can boost your LinkedIn performance by creating posts that demand more dwell time, meaning aim to write longer posts of at least 8 lines. Okay, so you can add lines and white space to increase the effect. But if you've ever seen a post as you're scrolling down and it says click to read more, or it's got some stuff where you got to actually click or you got to like scroll down to read more, that will increase your dwell time. So great. Now we've got a little bit of a format here for our LinkedIn posts. So we know at least, right, we want to come up with about 8 sentences or 8 lines or more. The other is early post performance. So when you hit publish on a LinkedIn post, your content doesn't just get shown to everyone. Okay. The LinkedIn algorithm has a specific way to test the performance and the whole reach. So in the first 60 to 90 minutes after posting, LinkedIn tests your new post with the closest members of your network, or about 7% of your total following. These are going to be the people who reliably will read and respond best to your content. If those people, meaning you got to have a good network, right? You got to have the right network, who are going to respond. But if these core users react well to your post, then the algorithm then will say, we're going to give a little more juice to this post. So it's going to push it out. You're going to get further reach. If they don't seem interested in the post, it's not hitting, then its reach will start to fall, right? So that's the little caveat. So again, it's sending it out. It's giving it to all the people it thinks, right, that you're connected to, that are going to be obviously relevant audience for your content. And if they're liking it, meaning they're checking it out, they've got the dwell time going on, they're looking at it, they're scrolling down. Awesome. Okay. So again, that's where, and I kind of want to pause because Scott talks about it all the time. If you are not doing things on LinkedIn to grow your network with the right people, okay, if you're not adding and connecting and growing your network and you don't even have the audience that you're looking for and you're not connected to them, what do you think is going to happen to your content?
Nothing.
That's why so many people and even clients that I work with, when they first start posting and they haven't yet even connected with their ideal audience, what do you expect?
Well,
right? You got to do the do.
I also think people have a misconception about LinkedIn that they still think it's what it was back in 2017, 2018, where you just connect with a bunch of people, you message, and like you're booking 15 to 20 sales calls a week. It's not that anymore. It is more, it's a very intimate place still, but people are more selective of who they actually want to talk to. And if you're not networking, if you're not connecting with the right people, you're gonna reiterate this story that, oh, LinkedIn doesn't work for me. And the way that I talk about LinkedIn whenever I'm giving a keynote or I'm doing a private workshop is you have to think about LinkedIn as a retirement policy. It's the long-term game, right? It's that marathon approach rather than that sprint approach. So it's those daily deposits that allow everything that you're doing to grow over time. It's funny, people look at my LinkedIn profile and they see that I'm approaching 30,000 followers. They don't realize that I've been growing that following since 2013. It hasn't happened overnight. It's taken almost 11 years of consistency to get to where I am. And I haven't even gotten started yet, but that's not to say that, my following is better than anyone else's, but I pride myself on doing the right things and networking, right? And building a network that is going to not only thrive from the content that I give away for free, but if people want to take it offline, they have the ability to do so. And Nance, if you want me to share with them that funny story of what happened when that person reached out to me, I can share really quickly.
Yeah, no, go for it.
So I'll actually, you can't see this, but I'm going to read this verbatim. So the story goes is, every week I go through and I have anywhere between 250 to 350 unaccepted connection requests weekly. that I have to go through. And most get, left alone or ignored if they're spamming me. But there's a few that populate that I'm like, you know what? I want to network with this person. So to make a very long story short, I had this person reach out to me. Okay. And they sent me a connection request and they added a note. And the note read, "Hello, I'm Tracy, a motivated professional and entrepreneurial lifestyle expert. The reason why I'm reaching out is I'm always looking for synergy with other purpose-driven entrepreneurs and motivated professionals. I'd love it if we could connect." Okay. So I replied back, "Hi, my friend. I'm always looking to collaborate with like-minded people as well. Do you have a calendar link so we can book a call?" Their response, "For what?" My response, "You sent me a connection request with a note saying," and I repeated what they had said to me. And they wrote back, "Yes, absolutely. I love building my network. I was curious as to what you wanted to discuss specifically on the call you mentioned. What's on your mind?"
I
And I
mean,
wrote,
and that would have been a great opportunity for them to connect with you and actually learn more about what you're doing. And then, like again, have a stronger connection on LinkedIn and network more.
and it ended up going nowhere. And I
It was
ended up,
confusing. Yeah.
but like, what the hell are people doing? Like, I felt like I was taking crazy pills. I'm like, this person sent me a message with a note that they wanted to connect. And I'm like, great, let's connect. Do you have
Yeah.
a calendar link? We'll book a call to connect. And when I got that response, Nancy,
Yeah.
and it said, "For what?" I said, "You got to be kidding me."
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
like,
it's like, what are we doing? Right. What are we actually using the platform for?
Nancy, these are the types of people that should not be in business. I'm sorry. There are some people that should be entrepreneurs and in business, and other people like, stop.
Well, I think
Just stop.
and just
Stop
to
it. Stop
chime
it. Get some help.
just to chime in, I do think it's people who have started using automation, have you been using bots, right? Which is a no-no, which is
Oh,
a no-no.
and I guarantee, Nancy, it was automation. And I asked her, I confronted them and I
Yeah.
said, "Were you using automation?" They're like, "No, I crafted myself." No
That's
way.
also why you don't get other people, because again, that's also a no-no. You can get your account blocked, but that's why you don't get other people connecting with people for you, because you don't even know what kind of relationship you built. You don't even know what kind of connecting's happening. It just doesn't make sense to me. Plus, you can only connect and message so many people per day. So it's a handful, guys. In the past, we used to do, okay, and like now you're getting me fired up because we used to do cold calling, right? That used to work. It doesn't work anymore. So what the hell are you filling your time with? And if you know you can do something to build relationships with people, which by the way, and I quote, right, from Social Media Examiner about LinkedIn, it takes long-term, consistent posting, engaging, and connecting to convert people into active leads or followers. If you're not doing that, and even Andy Crestodina, right? He's the owner of Orbit Media, amazing content creator, author of Content Chemistry. We did a podcast episode with him a few weeks ago. He said, if you are not making friends,
You're gonna be in business.
you're not doing it right. You're not networking right. Why are we so scared, right, of actually talking to a human? Stop it. LinkedIn is not the place to do that. So anyway, I'm going to reel us back in because I just, we could totally do a podcast episode just all on this and yelling at people. Like, honestly, I get so mad at my clients sometimes. I work with a lot of people in the insurance industry and they're like, well, I don't want to connect. I don't want to do the connecting, or I don't want to. And I'm like, really? If
Then
you
get off
connected,
I'm sorry. Then get off. Here's the
wait,
last
I'm
thing.
going to pull up a statistic. Hold on, because this is the one I was bugging out about.
What I want to say is this. I know we're going on a little bit of a riff here, but here's what I want to say. People, what all of you need to understand is this is my humbled opinion. It has never been easier to build a business than it is right now. When you want to talk about like how easy it has become to get in front of people, you don't have to send postcards anymore. You don't have to take out ads in newspapers and magazines that people don't read. You don't have to get a billboard ad space. You don't have to do any of that. You don't have to knock door to door. Nancy, we used to pay a guy. This is now in the late 90s. We used to pay a guy when we had our first gym in downtown Philadelphia in Old City. We used to pay a dude to take our membership flyers and stuff doors all around the city blocks of where our gym was. We used to give him a few $100, and he used to just walk and he used to stuff it in people's mailboxes. That is the way that you used to get in front of people. And you know what? People don't see how amazing social media is. They have these expectations of being the next micro influencer. It's not about that. Be a good human being. Use it genuinely. Like, if you're going to use automation to automate the human connection process, especially on LinkedIn, well, number one, you're violating the user agreement. But number two, would you like it if someone sent you a bunch of automated 18 paragraph long, drunk along, non-personalized messages? No. And this is something that Nancy and I talk about all the time. It's called the smell test. If it stinks, don't send it.
100%. And I found the actual percent, the actual thing that I was looking for. So this is the New Rules of Marketing and PR. Great book, 8th edition. Keeps super updated by David Meerman Scott. Anyway, he posted in here, and here's the thing. I just want you to think of this. I work with an insurance broker team that connects right with big companies. That's who they're looking to connect with, right? And the common myth, right, is a lot of people think that big CEOs, senior executives, people aren't using social media. Well, they did a huge study, and finally, right, because this author was basically like, I keep arguing to people, yes, they do. Forbes finally did a huge study in association with Google, and they released a study called The Rise of the Digital C-Suite, How Executives Locate and Filter Business Information. And they found that 75% of executives surveyed said they watch work-related videos at least weekly. 65% have visited a vendor's website after watching a video. And all of them said they use social media a few times a week. And I mean, again, LinkedIn is like a huge playground, right, for senior executives. So my whole point is knowing that, right? And even, again, that's a Forbes study in collaboration with Google, knowing that information, knowing your people are there. Why are we treating it like a secondhand, thing, right? It is such a valuable platform. And in most cases, it's free. So also diving back, right, because I want to reel it back into, a couple of the other, algorithm focuses for LinkedIn. One of the ones I mentioned was the negative engagement signals. Guys, what that is, for example, if someone actually comes to your content, they see it. And if they unfollow you after seeing it, if they pause the video and then disconnect with you or remove themselves or maybe block you, that is a big red flag to LinkedIn to say, ooh, okay, nope, this person or this content probably shouldn't be pushed out and shared. People aren't liking it. Okay. So it's smart enough to understand that. Now, it also notices, Scott mentioned earlier, engagement pods. Guys, it has a little thing that combs through, and it can tell when you're using an engagement pod. So if you are, doing an engagement pod right now and you have groups of people who like and make short comments on each other's posts, well, guess what? The algorithm's smart enough to spot this kind of artificial activity, and it uses it as a signal to downgrade your content in the feed. So stop it. Just like buying fake followers for Instagram, just like, right, buying likes and loves and all that kind of stuff that doesn't matter. It is going to hurt you in the end. So stop faking it. Okay. The other one is internal and external links. So guys, unfortunately, anytime we put a link like a URL or an external link, it is going to decrease, right, the amount of reach you're going to receive. In fact, it decreases by about 50%. And the reason why is it doesn't want you to leave the platform. But the thing is it's sometimes a necessary evil. Okay. So your options are to share the link anyway, right? So if it's something you really want to send people to, or, hey, check this thing out, or visit my website, or, hey, here's the link to my new book, or whatever, you can do it. Or you can share it in the comments. Or there's probably about 5 other ways, right? Sharing a piece of content in your featured section, adding your link at the top, in the post itself, you can say, hey guys, click on the link at the top of my profile, or click in my, featured section. So again, it will decrease your reach if you're sharing that link directly in the post. In the past, because if you're thinking, oh, well, I thought it didn't matter, it matters now. Okay. So just keep in mind, again, LinkedIn wants to keep you here, in the same space. Now, it's important, right, to focus on the type of content and creating the type of content that LinkedIn actually loves. Okay. And there's 6 different types of organic content that you can create, and they almost always perform well on LinkedIn. One is personal stories. Right. So storytelling, sharing things from your own perspective. People love hearing the stories behind your brand, your business, your journey, things like that, right? It's personalized. That stuff really usually hits. Another one is thought leadership. So share insights, expert content, education, things that your audience really look forward to. I'll tell you what, again, I keep bringing him up, but Andy Cresadina, man, you gotta, if you're not already subscribed to his newsletter, he has some meaty, amazing, informative articles.
Well, Nancy,
You don't want to miss.
someone is going to be a contributor in one of his upcoming articles.
Ooh, yeah, well, you should. That's great. I'm absolutely excited about that. And so his articles are just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Scott, every single week, he's dishing out LinkedIn tips as well. So, Scott's LinkedIn newsletter.
Dishing them out.
Yep, dishing them out. The other thing that does fairly well is, if you guys have events going on or different things where you're actually able to share pictures from that in-person event, maybe you're going to an association event, you're doing something in person, you've got your team with you, you can tag the event, and you can also tag people that you saw there. That tends to actually get a lot of engagement on LinkedIn as well. The other is user-generated content, having other people talk about you. So again, Andy Cresadina has him do, a little write-up in his article. He can then now tag Scott, which it's going to show to Scott's network. That person's going to tag, and so on and so forth, and everybody else who's a contributor. So it's just a great way to spread your content out there. You even do, if you did a podcast episode, for example, and you featured someone in particular, share that with them and ask them to share it with their audience, right? It's another way to kind of boost and get out there. And there are many others, just recognizing your team, sharing stuff like, leadership tips, different things, warm and fuzzies. I always say, like, work anniversaries. I mean, those always are hits, on LinkedIn. I see like, oh, work anniversary, we're celebrating like 50 years, and it's got like 200 likes. Again, we don't care so much about the likes, but we do care about, obviously, the amount of people who are getting to see that. So those are some of the highlights, guys. I know we kind of went on a little bit of a tangent. I mean, you're seeing real life, right? This isn't edited. This is like, obviously certain things come up sometimes, but please make sure that you are using the social media platforms for what they are meant to be used for. And you know what? LinkedIn is a wonderful place to grow your business, to connect with amazing people, whether it be leads or whether it's power partners, people who can actually help be a referral partner for what it is that you do. So that's it for the social media tips. Anything else, Scott?
Nope. We just want to thank everybody for tuning in today, wherever you're listening to and from. Don't forget to head over to Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you're listening to and from. Leave us a rating and review. Let us know what you loved most about the episode, and we would be happy to do more. So everyone, please enjoy the rest of your days, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much again for checking out today's episode. And if you are listening through iTunes, Spotify, wherever you are, please leave me a rating and review. Let me know what you loved, what you would like to see improved, or ideas you have for future episodes. And if you are interested in taking your business to the next level, don't hesitate to go to my website, www.scottaaron.net, where you can schedule a free discovery call with me, where I can learn more about you, your business, what you're struggling with, and how we can work together. And don't forget to check out my wife, Nancy, and mine our free community on Facebook called LinkedIn Leads for Life. We would love to see you in there. Have a great rest of your day. And thank you everyone for your support. Grateful for each and every one of you.